Have you ever noticed that the more effort you put into getting someone's attention, the further they seem to drift away? Like no matter how many texts you send, calls you make, or favors you offer, it feels like you're pushing them away instead of pulling them in. I get it, it's frustrating. But here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. The key to attraction isn't about doing more, it's about doing less. In fact, it's about doing the opposite of what you've been doing all along. The more you pull back, the more attractive you become. What we're about to explore today will blow your mind. We're going to dive into why people are naturally more drawn to you when you stop trying to be noticed. Stay with me until the end, because I'll break down the 9 psychological triggers through the lens of Stoicism that can make you magnetic by simply pulling away. By the time you finish this video, your perspective on relationships, attraction, and even how you see yourself will change completely. Trust me, this is going to get real. We live in a world where everyone is constantly connected, but at the same time, we're lonelier than ever before. How many times have you seen someone obsess over getting a text back? How many times have you seen people compromise their self-worth just to be noticed, just to feel validated for a brief moment? That's where most of us are making a huge mistake. Here's the cold, hard truth. We've been taught to believe that the more we give, the more we chase, the more we're available, the more we'll be appreciated. But the exact opposite is true. Today, we're going to talk about the power of distance, and how stepping back is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It's a sign of value. When you stop needing people to fill your emotional gaps, you start attracting them. And today, we'll go over 9 practical, actionable steps that will make you more desirable by doing less. Whether you're looking to fix a relationship, attract new ones, or simply regain your sense of self-worth, these tips are for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Why emotional distance makes you instantly more attractive. Let's talk about neediness. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but most people don't fully understand how destructive it can be in relationships. Neediness is one of the fastest ways to kill attraction. Why? Because it signals to the other person that you are dependent on them for your emotional well-being, that you need them to fill a void in your life. And when someone senses that you need them too much, it doesn't feel flattering, it feels suffocating. People are wired to be repelled by those who cling too tightly. Think about it. Have you ever been attracted to someone who constantly texts you, seeks validation, and seems to have no life of their own? Probably not. Emotional distance, on the other hand, is incredibly seductive. When you're not clinging, when you're not constantly seeking attention or validation, you create space for the other person to come toward you. They feel like they need to work a little harder to earn your attention, and that makes you more valuable in their eyes. It's not that you don't care, it's that you're not dependent on them for your happiness. That's the key difference. In today's world, where texting, social media, and constant communication have become the norm, creating emotional distance can be incredibly powerful. It's about giving the other person room to breathe, and more importantly, giving yourself room to maintain your sense of self. You become more desirable when you're not always readily available. That doesn't mean playing games or manipulating someone. It means valuing your own independence and allowing them to value it too. The next time you feel the urge to reach out to someone constantly or reply to every message the second it hits your phone, stop, take a breath, allow some time to pass, let them miss you. This isn't about manipulation. It's about preserving your own emotional space and creating healthy distance. When you do this, you'll find that people naturally start to pursue you because scarcity always creates value. Number 2. How detachment cultivates unshakable confidence. Here's the truth about confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from being told you're amazing by others. It doesn't come from how many likes you get on your Instagram post or how often people compliment you. Confidence comes from within, and more specifically, it comes from being detached from the outcome. When you can truly say, "I'm okay whether this person likes me or not," or "I don't need this situation to go a certain way to feel good about myself," that's when you start to tap into real, unshakable confidence. Think about the most confident people you know. They're not the ones constantly seeking approval or chasing validation from others. They're the ones who seem completely at peace with themselves, no matter what's happening around them. That's because they've learned the art of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about people or situations. It means you're not emotionally dependent on the outcome. Whether things go your way or not, you're still confident in who you are. When you detach, you shift the power dynamic in any relationship. You're no longer seeking approval, which means the other person naturally starts to seek it from you. It's a subtle but powerful psychological shift. And the best part is, this kind of confidence isn't fragile. It doesn't crumble when things don't go your way, because it's rooted in your own sense of self-worth, not in external validation. Start practicing detachment in small ways. If you're texting someone and they don't reply right away, instead of feeling anxious or overthinking why they haven't responded, remind yourself that their response, or lack thereof, doesn't determine your worth. The more you practice this, the more your confidence will grow, and the more attractive you'll become to others. Number 3. Why we want what we can't have. Scarcity is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology, and it's the reason why limited edition products, exclusive memberships, and high-demand events hold such massive appeal. When something is rare, our minds automatically assign more value to it. Think about the last time you tried to buy something that was out of stock or only available in limited quantities. Didn't it become that much more desirable, even if you didn't need it that badly at first? Now, apply that principle to human relationships. If you're always available, always replying immediately, always saying yes, always ready to hang out at a moment's notice, you dilute your value. People come to expect that they can have your attention whenever they want, which means they start taking it for granted. It's not that they don't care about you, it's just human nature. When something is always accessible, people don't cherish it in the same way they would if it were scarce. Here's where scarcity becomes your secret weapon in relationships. By intentionally creating space, by not always being available, you immediately increase your value in the eyes of others. You become that limited edition person. People begin to crave your attention because they can't get it whenever they want. Suddenly, they're the ones wondering when they'll see you again, when you'll text back, when you'll be available. This shift creates desire, because what is scarce is always sought after. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games or manipulating people. It's about understanding a fundamental psychological truth. People value what they have to work for. When you make your time and attention less available, people have to earn it, and that's when they start to appreciate it more. The next time you feel pressured to always be there, resist the urge. Don't be afraid to say no, reschedule, or simply not respond right away. Let people realize your time is valuable. When you become less accessible, you not only give yourself more control, but you also give others the opportunity to chase you. And trust me, when people start chasing you, their perception of your value skyrockets. Now, here's a practical challenge. Try delaying your responses to texts or requests. When someone asks to hang out, instead of jumping at the opportunity, say you need to check your schedule. Watch how people's attitude towards you changes when they realize your time is a privilege, not a given. Number 4. The silent power of self-sufficiency. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, The ability to be self-sufficient is becoming rarer and more valuable by the day. The reality is, most people are looking for someone to fill their emotional gaps, someone to lean on, or even someone to make them feel validated. But here's the thing, when you don't need anyone to fulfill those roles, when you're happy, fulfilled, and stable on your own, that's when people start gravitating toward you. Why? Because self-sufficiency signals strength. It tells the world that you're capable of taking care of yourself, emotionally and physically, and that you're not dependent on others for your happiness. This level of independence is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Think about it. How often do you meet someone who isn't constantly seeking reassurance, who isn't asking for attention, who doesn't need someone else to feel complete? Not often, right? That's why self-sufficient people stand out. They're different, and that difference makes them magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who are whole on their own because it removes pressure. When you're self-sufficient, you're not looking to others to make you feel good or validate your worth, which in turn makes relationships healthier and less stressful. The people around you don't feel like they have to constantly cater to your emotional needs, and that creates space for a more balanced and fulfilling connection. Self-sufficiency is also deeply tied to confidence. When you're comfortable being alone, when you're focused on your own passions, hobbies, and goals, you radiate a kind of unshakable inner strength that others can't help but notice. You're not afraid of solitude, and that lack of fear makes you incredibly desirable. People will want to be a part of your life not because you need them, but because you've created a life so full and vibrant that they want to be part of it. Focus on building your own life. Spend time cultivating your passions, whether it's learning a new skill, working out, pursuing a career goal, or even just developing a hobby that makes you feel fulfilled. The more time you invest in yourself, the more attractive you become to others. Why? Because self-sufficiency is the ultimate form of self-respect. When you respect yourself enough to be whole without others, you'll attract people who respect you too. Challenge yourself to spend more time alone, not in isolation, but in productive solitude. Time spent improving yourself. The more you invest in your own self-growth, the less you'll feel the need to chase others, and the more they'll naturally be drawn to you. Number 5. Why timing in communication creates desire. In today's digital age, where everything happens at lightning speed, instant messages, real-time updates, and the pressure to respond quickly, patience has become a forgotten art. But let me tell you this, mastering patience, especially in communication, can make you incredibly desirable. Why? Because waiting builds anticipation, and anticipation is the foundation of desire. Think about it. When someone doesn't immediately reply to your text or doesn't rush to make plans with you, what happens? You start to think about them more. You wonder what they're doing, why they haven't responded yet, and when they will. That curiosity creates emotional tension, and tension leads to attraction. On the other hand, if someone is always available, always responding right away, there's no build-up, no sense of mystery, and without mystery, there's no excitement. This is where patience becomes your secret weapon. When you're not rushing to reply, when you're not always available at the snap of a finger, you give people time to think about you. You let them experience the absence of your presence, which in turn makes them crave it more. You're creating a gap that they want to fill, and that desire keeps them coming back. But there's a fine line here. It's not about ignoring people or playing hard to get. It's about being intentional with your responses and your availability. When you master the art of patience, you're showing that your time is valuable and that you're not someone who's sitting around waiting for attention. You're busy living your life, and that makes people want to be a part of it even more. Start practicing patience in your everyday communication. The next time someone texts you, Resist the urge to reply immediately. Take a breath. Give it a few minutes or even an hour before responding. Let them wonder where you are and what you're doing. This isn't about being rude or distant. It's about showing that you're not in a rush, that you're confident enough to take your time. Challenge yourself to delay your responses and watch how people start to engage with you differently. By creating a little space between interactions, you're building anticipation, and that anticipation naturally leads to stronger attraction. Here's a specific challenge. Try this the next time you're texting someone. If you usually reply right away, wait 15-30 minutes before you do. If you normally agree to plans without hesitation, tell them you need to check your schedule first. Watch how this slight shift in timing can dramatically change the dynamic of your interactions and make you more intriguing. Number 6. Why mystery magnifies attraction. In today's hyper-connected world, mystery has almost become extinct. Social media has trained us to overshare every single detail of our lives. From what we eat to where we're going, who we're with, and even our innermost thoughts, it's all laid out for the world to see. We think that sharing more will make us more relatable, more likable, and more connected. But here's the harsh reality. The more you share, the less interesting you become. When everything is out in the open, there's no mystery left. And mystery, my friend, is one of the most potent tools in attraction. Think about it. Why are we so drawn to movies with twists or characters with hidden layers? It's the unknown that keeps us hooked, that leaves us wanting more. This is exactly what happens in relationships. When people can't figure you out completely, when there's an element of mystery to who you are, they become more intrigued. They start thinking about you more because they want to fill in the gaps. And the more they think about you, the more they're drawn to you. That's the power of mystery. Now, contrast that with someone who constantly broadcasts every thought, feeling, and move. There's nothing left to discover, nothing left to wonder about. You become predictable, and predictability is the enemy of attraction. When people think they know everything about you, their curiosity fades, and so does their desire to engage. On the other hand, when you hold something back, when you maintain a bit of mystery, people are naturally inclined to pursue you more because they want to uncover what's hidden beneath the surface. Think about social media influencers or celebrities who don't share every detail of their personal lives. They don't post every meal, every workout, or every relationship update. Instead, they share selectively. You only see glimpses of their life, and that's what keeps you coming back for more. You're curious. You want to know more, and that's why they're able to maintain such a strong sense of allure. Now imagine doing the same thing in your relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games or manipulating people. It's about understanding that not everything needs to be shared. When you hold back certain parts of your life, whether it's your thoughts, feelings, or actions, you give others a reason to stay engaged with you. You give them something to think about. And this is critical in a world where everyone is oversharing and vying for attention. By being a little more reserved, a little more mysterious, you stand out in a sea of oversharing. Here's the key. Don't feel pressured to post everything online. Not every moment needs to be documented, and not every thought needs to be expressed publicly. In fact, the less you share, the more valuable what you do share becomes. When people don't know everything about you, they start filling in the blanks on their own, and their imagination works in your favor. They'll start thinking, what's this person doing? Why aren't they sharing more? That curiosity is powerful, and it builds attraction like nothing else. Moreover, this principle applies not just to social media, but to your real-life interactions as well. Think about the people in your life who are always an open book, who tell you everything the moment it happens. Now think about someone who's a bit more reserved, who only shares when the time is right, who doesn't reveal everything all at once. Who are you more curious about? Who keeps you more intrigued? It's always the person who holds back a little, who keeps you guessing. Stop oversharing, both online and in person. The next time you're tempted to post every detail of your day or spill everything about your life in a conversation, hold back a little. Share just enough to keep people engaged, but leave some things unsaid. Let them wonder. Let them be curious. The less they know, the more they'll want to know, and that curiosity will make you infinitely more attractive. Number 7, the art of emotional restraint. Emotional restraint isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. In today's world, people are quick to express every emotion, often without thinking about the consequences. We live in an age of instant reactions. Someone offends you, and you're immediately ready to fire back. Someone says something you don't like, and you're already typing a response. But here's where the real secret lies. Those who can control their emotions, especially in high-pressure situations, are viewed as stronger, more stable, and ultimately more desirable. Think about it. Who are you more drawn to in your own life? Is it the person who's constantly reacting to everything, getting flustered or angry at the smallest inconvenience? Or is it the person who remains calm, composed, and in control no matter what life throws at them? It's almost always the latter. Emotional control signals strength, maturity, and confidence, all of which are incredibly attractive qualities. It shows that you're not easily shaken, that you have an inner foundation that doesn't crumble at the first sign of trouble. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When you practice emotional restraint, you gain the upper hand in any interaction. By not reacting emotionally, you become the person people look up to, the one who remains cool and collected. This is especially powerful in relationships. When others expect you to lose your temper or overreact and you respond calmly instead, it throws them off balance. It makes them see you in a different light, as someone who's in control of themselves and the situation. This kind of control is irresistible because it's rare. People admire what they don't have, and emotional control is something most people lack. The next time you're faced with a situation that triggers an emotional response, whether it's anger, frustration, or even jealousy, pause. Take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to process before reacting. Instead of lashing out or showing your emotions, respond with calmness and composure. This practice not only shows strength, but also forces others to respect you more because you're not easily rattled. Over time, you'll find that your ability to control your emotions makes you a person others look up to and want to be around. Number 8, how calmness makes you irresistible. In today's world, people are constantly looking for a source of calm. We're surrounded by stress, work deadlines, financial pressures, social obligations, and the constant noise of social media. Amid all this chaos, there's something incredibly attractive about a person who radiates inner peace. When you have a sense of calmness that isn't easily disturbed by the outside world, people can't help but be drawn to you. You become a beacon of stability in an otherwise turbulent sea. Inner peace isn't about having a perfect life where nothing ever goes wrong. It's about how you handle the storms that come your way. It's the ability to stay grounded, to not let external circumstances shake your sense of self. When you cultivate inner peace, you send a message to the world. I am in control of my life, and I won't let the outside world dictate my emotions. And that's incredibly powerful. When people encounter someone with this kind of calmness, they're naturally drawn to them because they want to experience that same peace in their own lives. It's almost like you become a source of serenity that others want to tap into. Think about the people in your life who seem the most grounded, the ones who never seem flustered or overwhelmed, even when everything around them is chaotic. don't you find yourself wanting to be around them more? That's the power of inner peace. It creates a magnetic effect because, in a world filled with anxiety and stress, people crave calmness. They want to be around those who have mastered the art of staying serene in the face of adversity. To cultivate inner peace, start by creating daily rituals that help you center yourself. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to reflect on your day, these practices help you stay grounded. Over time, you'll find that your calmness not only benefits you, but also becomes something that attracts others. People will begin to see you as a rock in their lives, someone they can rely on to be steady, no matter what. And that makes you incredibly desirable. Number 9. How moving away sparks curiosity and heightens attraction. Here's where the magic truly happens. When you move away, whether emotionally or even physically, you create a powerful shift in the dynamic of your relationships. Human psychology is wired to crave what it can't have, and when you're constantly available, constantly close, people begin to take your presence for granted. They stop appreciating the value you bring to the table because they know you're always there. But the moment you create distance, when you step back and give them the space to feel your absence, that's when people start to realize how much they miss you. It's a natural human response. We only fully appreciate something when it's no longer easily accessible. This isn't about playing games or manipulating people. It's about recognizing the power of space and how it impacts relationships. When you're always there, people get used to your presence. They start expecting it. But when you create distance, you disrupt that expectation. You force people to take a step back and evaluate what your presence really means to them. And here's the best part. Distance triggers curiosity. People start wondering where you are, what you're doing, and why you're no longer as available. That curiosity is a powerful force because it makes people want to reach out, to reconnect, to chase after you. Think about it like this. Have you ever noticed how much more interested you become in someone who suddenly pulls away? It's a universal experience. When someone who was once readily available starts becoming scarce, it sparks intrigue. You start thinking about them more, wondering why they've distanced themselves, and before you know it, they're the only person on your mind. This is the psychology of scarcity at work, and it's incredibly effective when it comes to attraction. If you feel like someone in your life has started taking you for granted, whether it's a romantic partner, a friend, or even a co-worker, don't confront them or beg for their attention. Instead, create space. Step back emotionally and physically. Let them feel your absence and allow them to miss you. You'll find that as soon as you move away, they'll begin to chase after you, eager to reconnect. The key is to let go of the fear of losing them. When you move away with confidence, you put yourself in a position of power, and that's when people will start to value your presence more than ever. In a world where everyone is fighting to be seen, heard, and validated, the real power lies in stepping back. You've spent your whole life thinking that the more you give, the more you chase, the more people will appreciate you. But the truth is, attraction doesn't work that way. When you step away, when you stop constantly being available, you allow people to feel your absence. And that's when they realize your true value. Remember, this isn't about playing games or manipulating anyone. It's about understanding your worth and having the confidence to let others come to you. The moment you stop needing people, the moment you stop chasing validation, that's when you become magnetic. Whether it's in love, friendships, or your career, the power of distance is undeniable. When you give yourself space, you give others the opportunity to see how valuable your presence really is. So, are you ready to let go, step back, and become the kind of person people are drawn to? Now, here's where it gets interesting. I want to know your experience. Have you ever noticed that when you step back, people start coming to you? Drop a comment below and tell me about a time you created distance and how it completely shifted the dynamic. Trust me, your stories will inspire others to do the same. And if you found these insights valuable, there are 2 ways you can help this channel grow and continue bringing you content like this. The first is by subscribing. It's simple, free, and helps us reach even more people who need to hear this. The second way, if you're really feeling generous and want to support us on a deeper level, is to join our channel membership. Both options make a huge difference and allow us to keep diving deep into these transformative topics. But here's the key. Take action now, not just by subscribing or joining, but by applying what you've learned today. Watch how your relationships shift, how people start seeing you differently, and how, over time, you begin to feel more powerful, more confident, and more in control than ever before.